Welcome back to the Red Path Portal. Today we're looking at the red ray and the near-infrared ray and the sun's energy, how it affects the physical anatomy according to research, and how, on an esoteric level, how this energy penetrates the subtle spiritual bodies and also enters the vortices or the chakras and pulls this cosmic energy in to create certain changes. So when we look back at ancient times, humanity has really always been in the sun, and now we find ourselves indoors most of the time, in front of computers, in the shade, all the places where we're blocked off from the sun, and the sun is really the life force for this little planet of ours. So how do we tap into these energies and utilize them so that we can be healthy and also allow this energy to enter the subtle spiritual bodies and bring us optimal health? So the research has recently come out, and I'm going to leave some links in the description box below. It's always been known in ancient times that when the sun is rising, that first 20 minutes, where you have those red rays, and this is without the UV rays. The UV rays only enter when the sun reaches a higher point in the sky. So these red rays penetrate one's being. This energy goes into the mitochondria and stimulates ATP production. And we know ATP is really the energy of our body. It gives us the energy for the day. And getting this near-infrared ray in the mornings also helps us at the end of the day in terms of our circadian cycle or rhythm. So it allows us to build up this energy for the day, and then also melatonin for later on in the day. And this is also very important to how it affects the third eye. In other words, the pituitary and the pineal gland. As the sun hits the mitochondria, there's also a process where the cell somehow releases nitrates and produces nitric oxide gas. The nitric oxide gas is really one of the secrets to longevity because it keeps the blood vessels in the heart and the brain healthy. So we really want to draw this energy in and have as much nitric oxide in the body as possible to keep us youthful and healthy. This entire process is known as photobiomodulation. In other words, through absorbing this, it allows the body to have cell repair and boost the immunity. Sitting or meditating in the sun in the very early morning, where you're avoiding the UV rays, your body is absorbing all this near-infrared, which is stimulating this energy within the body, getting the cells to repair and boosting one's immunity. Most of the world lack vitamin D. So moving away or out of the red ray, we can enter the sun at most of the other parts of the day. We really want to avoid that midday sun because the sun's rays during the middle of the day really damages one's skin. So it's safe to go into the sun up until about 11 and from about 4 o'clock onwards. But we need to remember it depends on what hemisphere that you're in and what season you're in, because there are certain times where the sun is a lot stronger. And we need about 20 to 30 minutes of the sun to penetrate the body. So we also need to remember here that 95% of the cells in the body contain vitamin D, and vitamin D is really a hormone. And if it was classified today, it would be classified as a hormone and not a vitamin. So it's essential that we get these rays from the sun penetrating our body. Even if one sits outside under a tree, you're still going to absorb some of these rays entering into the cells of the body. It's really important to boost the body with vitamin D. And then alongside vitamin D, we want to take vitamin K. So the vitamin K stops the calcium from being attached to the arteries. So what it does is it supposedly carries the calcium into the bones where they really should be. By having high amounts of vitamin D in your body, not only are you going to sleep better, you're going to feel better, and your entire immunity is going to be protected. So when we're outside, we should never look directly into the sun itself, because over a period of time, even that short exposure can damage the eyes. You might not feel it immediately, but over a period of time, your eyesight will weaken. In modern times, obviously, for commercial value, now people are creating these red lights that you can use indoors that will also penetrate through the skin and stimulate the mitochondria of the cells. And so one can have these red rays or these red lights within one's house. And then we take a look at the early dawn of the early light, the Sun Serpent. So when we find ourselves in Mexico, there is a pyramid in Chichen Itza, a step pyramid. And on a specific day, in particular the equinox, as the sun hits the pyramid, you can see the shadow that's casted on the step pyramid. Looks as if the serpent is descending from the heavens down the pyramid. So this was an extremely sacred day for all the ancient Maya. We also need to ask, how did the Maya actually figure this out, that this would happen on the equinox? So we'll take a look at this in future videos. So the ancient Maya, Aztec, Inca, and Native Americans had many sun rituals, and so did the ancient Egyptians, and many of the ancient cultures around the ancient world practiced the sun worship. So it's not that you're worshipping the sun. Behind the sun is a divine force, a deity. And there are different sun deities depending on which world we find ourselves in, or what time period humanity finds itself in. So these are the ancient secrets that the Maya knew. And they would practice, or many of their rituals, just before the moment of sunrise, and that first half an hour, it was very important to them. And this allowed these energies to start to enter the subtle spiritual body. We must also know some of the biggest spectacles, spiritual events that have taken place on the planet was really in Mexico. And I'll make another video on this in the future. So the ancient Maya used to practice really big rituals also in the evening, when the sun was setting. And in the west you had a red sun, and on the right, in the east, you had the red moon rising, a full moon. So they knew exactly what they were doing. Firstly, when we understand the spiritual bodies, we have quite a few bodies around us. So around the physical body, we have the etheric body. Around that is the astral. And then we have the mental body and the spiritual bodies, all like an onion wrapped around us. So then we have the chakras, these cosmic vortices that pull in this energy from the spirit realms, cosmic force. And this is really the secret to spiritual development. What is this energy? So we're talking about vitality globules. In particular, kids can really see this, or people that have good eyesight. So when you lie on the lawn and you look up into the sky, you can see these little molecules that are bouncing around. So when we breathe these molecules in, we breathe them out. These molecules give us life. So when it comes to meditation and breathing, or pranic exercises, yogic exercises like the kriyas, you're drawing this energy within you, you're breathing it in, but at the same time, you're using your thoughts to bring this energy in and to saturate a certain area with this energy. Otherwise, that's just going to pass out of the body. So this is really the secret to awakening the subtle bodies around one, these subtle tubes as well that run around the body. Because once the prana starts to enter this, and once cosmic force touches this, you start to awaken. Not only do you start to see life, you start to enter the spiritual world, and even the intuitive part of the mind starts to open. So this light is really significant in one's spiritual development, because when we pass on and we look at the spirit world, we go to the astral. So even heaven is in the astral, the higher astral. And what is the astral made of? It's made of astral light. And then we go to the higher worlds, the ethers. And we have the ether of light, the immortal ethers, which humanity will one day evolve to in a very, very long time. So here again, this prana, this life force that you're breathing in, needs to be controlled with thought. And it's the combination of thought and the prana that have this impact, which is really the secret to awakening in the spirit world, awakening one's wisdom eye. This little video is just to make you aware of the importance of the sun. And some may say, well, Trevor, I can't get into the sun, my skin is so sensitive. Well, you can get into the sun. If you get into the sun for that first 20 minutes of the day, even half an hour, there's very little, if any, UV rays. You can also do it in the evening, but it would be preferable to do this meditation in the morning to allow these energies in so that it can set the circadian rhythm, which will allow you to sleep peacefully at night. Because you really want to have that deep sleep that will allow you to remember your dreams and your astral travels into the spirit world. Condition yourself in the early morning sun in that first 20 minutes. One also doesn't want to go to the beach when you've been sitting in the office for 6 months and now all of a sudden you end up on a beach being burnt. You need to acclimatize, get the skin ready for that kind of exposure. So a little bit of sun every day before you go on holiday can make a very big difference in how this process is actually unfolding within your body. So you can imagine these sun's rays are shooting through your body, Some of them are hitting the cells. So there's a magical process that's really going on. But more importantly, the chakras and specific chakras are drawing in these cosmic rays of the sun, these photons. And this prana, this light prana, is stored within the chakras so that one can use it spiritually and function and know things in the spirit world. You can't run a vehicle without fuel, and it's the same thing spiritually. Once the fuel is there, you start to experience spiritual phenomena. You start to see, you start to dream, and you start to get to know things through intuition. And so I hope you experiment with the sun a little bit more. Don't be afraid to go out into it and get yourself a red light that you can have in your TV room or wherever you are, so that you can get that exposure of those red rays into the mitochondria to give you that energy that you need. If you enjoy videos like this, I hope you subscribe and like and leave a comment in the section below, and I'll catch you in the matrix.